is a United States military base. I am American. America built this country.
I would say that they're probably not going to do anything about it, right? The problem is he has repeatedly done this. Not just once, but multiple times. He played North Korean propaganda on the metro, on the bus, at Lotte World, various places. He's gone all around making North Korean statements.
Based on recently obtained footage, Johnny Somali allegedly fled South Korea, but the turmoil he left behind is far from gone. As Somali's egregious behavior overseas causes significant worldwide reaction, the U.S. government finds itself in an embarrassing and maybe unprecedented situation. Leaving the nation hasn't spared him from conflict. Indeed, a new legal action against him is gaining momentum. It may prove to be the most challenging battle he has ever faced. The outrage started after Somali blatantly violated South Korea's rigorous policies against endorsing anything linked to North Korea by disseminating North Korean propaganda carelessly while in the country. One well-known attorney just wrote on X, stressing just how serious Somali's acts are. This is no longer just about disruptive conduct or dubious antics. Sharing North Korean propaganda not only crossed the line, but also directly addressed a national security issue. Now closely monitoring him, South Korea is fiercely protective of her national security. Reports indicate Seoul prosecutors are closely monitoring his every action. The fact that Somali seems to have no awareness or total contempt for the weight of his acts is quite startling. He regularly participated in behavior obviously against South Korea's strict rules, despite the obvious legal implications. Many speculate that Johnny Somali's insatiable need for power causes him to be oblivious to the grave implications of his acts. But this is no longer only a question of internet pranks. With strong legal consequences, his actions have turned into a full-fledged political hot topic. A lawyer lately emphasized how this situation has gone much beyond the usual anarchy of Somalia. This directly challenges South Korea's fundamental values on national security, not alone mischievous activity. The world is now intently observing as South Korean and U.S. officials decide their next actions as the stakes rise daily. Though this would mostly be a symbolic rebuke of his egregious behavior, some sources shockingly indicate Somali could possibly be charged as a North Korean agent. Although his chances of getting convicted as a genuine spy are low, his careless actions, including publicly disparaging South Korea and playing North Korean propaganda, have practically assured he will pay a heavy price. Experts contend that his overt attempts to generate conflict are more than sufficient to demand a strong reaction from South Korean authorities. It gets worse. Rumors suggest Somali might be looking for safety in North Korea, an urgent flight from South Korean prosecution. His latest videos endorsing North Korea have drawn criticism. Some speculate he is trying to curry favor with the Pyongyang government. Still, many write off this concept as absolutely impractical. Though his circumstances are far from finished, those were Johnny Somali's farewell words. According to reports, South Korean intelligence agents are almost impossible for him to slip past any boundaries undetectably, as they are closely observing all of his every movement. Locals have been flocking to social media to express their opinions. One user quipped, "This guy's gonna end up with a 50-year sentence when it's all said and done." The comment captures the gravity of Somali's situation, even if it seems overdone. His deeds have not just enraged South Koreans, they have confined him to a spot from where escape appears nearly unattainable. Somali seems to be flitting under increasing pressure to save his reputation. He lately posted an apology video covering his provocative actions near the Comfort Women Monument. Critics have attacked the apologies, however, as flimsy and fake. Worse still, he apparently erased the narrative in which he performed the North Korean hymn, probably meant to help mitigate the consequences of his careless actions. Still, for many, these efforts are just too little, too late. Somali's provocations span many lines, and his last-minute regret does little to reverse the harm. But that's not all. Said to be fast-gathering evidence meant to hold them responsible, South Korean prosecutors and legal analysts have pointed out that his immediate outcome is his usage of North Korean propaganda, including playing their national song. Transgression of South Korea's strong legislation, which outright forbid such behavior. Given Johnny Somali's recurrent public presentations of DPRK-related material, both online and in person, the legal consequences of his activities are significant. Well-known expert Legal Mindset noted that Somali's actions go well beyond simple attention-seeking. One could see that as a clear breach of national security legislation. Now viral, fueling the outrage, features Somali performing the Roman salute, a blatant move that infuriated Koreans and many others around the Imperial Japanese Army March. In the video, Somali insults Koreans, advising they should go fight Japan instead of focusing their wrath on him. Not only does this direct provocation offend South Korea, but it also damages world sensitivities, hence his acts are much more alarming. According to a South Korean news source covering the event, Johnny Somali performed the Imperial Japanese Army March with the Roman salute, then encouraged war by encouraging Korea to fight Japan. The criticism came fast and unrelenting. Riley, one user, thought perhaps Johnny Somali might unite North and South Korea. They could coordinate his punishment, send him to a North Korean labor camp for life, and let South Korea show him crying himself to sleep on reality shows. Though comedy has entered the conversation, the terrible reality of Somali's actions is indisputable. His behavior has strayed into the domain of pure stupidity, raising many to wonder about his extent of travel and the gravity of the penalties. From fueling global conflicts to the strange act of attacking a fish in South Korea, Johnny Somali's actions defy all reason. It gets crazier when critics of him argue he poses a threat to anything or anyone that crosses his way, since his increasingly erratic behavior shows a total disrespect of legal and cultural limitations. The cries for quick and severe punishment have only become louder. A recent post on X caught the rising stakes. Nuisance live streamer Johnny Somali, who disseminated North Korean propaganda, risks an additional 7 years in prison on top of the 10 years he has spent pursuing assault and other crimes in South Korea. The sober possible sentence emphasizes the seriousness of his circumstances. Still, Somali's seeming apathy is shocking. He keeps exuding an amazing confidence, even arrogant, despite a mound of legal problems. Though most consider this as sheer delusion, some conjecture he is holding to the improbable hope of going to North Korea. South Korean officials seem committed to making sure he answers for his disruptive and confrontational behavior. Reddit, where users are commenting on his penalty. Given the politics, one user projected he would find himself anywhere between 12 and 16 years, with early parole available to seem forgiving, but not overly forgiving. Another jumped in, contending that in this circumstance, South Korea cannot afford to be gentle. Many find little space for sympathy or even forgiveness for Somali's careless disobedience of South Korean rules. The judicial system of South Korea seems to have crossed a turning point. Many contend that there is no longer any choice about leniency. Anything less than a strong reaction runs the danger of erasing the country's reputation on the international scene. Furthermore, South Korean citizens are unlikely to accept any softness, since it would convey the wrong message about handling crimes and disregarding the nation's ideals and past. The more general ramifications of Johnny Somali's case have spurred a global conversation. There is increasing conjecture that South Korean officials have probably had diplomatic talks with the United States in order to plan for resolving this explosive crisis. Apart from infuriating the public, Somali's activities of desecrating delicate landmarks and supporting North Korean propaganda have put an awkward focus on South Korea's legal system. But listen to this, as this case goes beyond only dispensing justice. It also speaks to defending national pride. With his destiny now caught in South Korea's political and judicial processes, the situation has spun far beyond Somali's reach. According to a popular belief, South Korea would decide to keep Somali imprisoned until a possible change in USS leaders make deportation less desirable or likely. Many agree, though, that Somali might be sent back to the United States anytime soon, the anarchy he has brought forth. Remarkably, Somali seems disconnected from reality, allegedly depending on U.S. Embassy intervention, an outcome most would find improbable given the seriousness of his crimes. One Reddit member caught the general attitude and wrote, "Big elections are coming up. Politicians would thus try to present their best. I'm all for Somali being made an example, as most likely she will be used. Although South Korea's next municipal elections are not until 2026, Somali's case offers legislators a chance to highlight their decisiveness and strength. A severe penalty would not only bring justice, but also probably appeal greatly to the people and foster national pride. For Somali, his antics utilizing the North Korean song might raise his charges to a far more severe level, aggravating everything, venture into national security, and he might have sealed his own doom. Encouragement of propaganda connected to North Korea has significantly more legal consequences than any of his past activities. Dismissing such allegations lightly would almost certainly be difficult for a judge. Should the court find that Somali's conduct was driven by financial gain or the quest for opinions, it presents a terrible image of deliberate contempt and exploitation. Ignoring it as merely clout chasing won't be sustainable. Given popular indignation, political dynamics, and the crucial question of national security, Somali is clearly entering a legal tsunami he is unlikely to escape. This situation now transcends him, as one observer put it. It's about conveying to the globe a message saying South Korea will not tolerate this kind of behavior, though Somali allegedly clings to the false hope of U.S. assistance, a view that grows more utopian by the day. His future seems increasingly dark. By the day, the likelihood of the United States swooping in to save Johnny Somali is increasingly remote. The reason this is happening as whispers of a possible renouncing of his citizenship are starting to spread, given his long history of damaging the nation's standing on the international front. Should that happen, he would be completely vulnerable, as the same rights he is depending on for atonement vanished overnight. It's quite remarkable how Somali has managed to avoid major repercussions despite performing some of the most bizarre and provocative acts conceivable. Though rumors of him applying for asylum in North Korea are abound, it sounds more like a desperate dream than a workable solution. Should he even try to leave South Korea, it will surely backfire, stacking more allegations and guaranteeing his responsibility. One internet comment sums up the circumstances really nicely. Recall when racist Johnny Somali aired North Korean propaganda on buses and in public. He is unaware, though, that this could possibly be turned against him in court. One finds it difficult to overlook the poetic irony of the circumstances.
If he was doing this as a joke once, I would say that they're probably not going to do anything about it, right? The problem is he has repeatedly done this. Not just once, but multiple times. He played North Korean propaganda on the metro, on the bus, at Lotte World, various places. He's gone all around making North Korean statements.
His own behavior is starting to serve as the exact proof, confirming his doom. Right now, the odds are stacked clearly against him. It is unknown whether North Korea would accept his refugee plea out of spite or abandon him to deal with the consequences in South Korea. One thing is really obvious, though. Johnny Somali has run out of choices, and his road forward appears especially dark. Will Johnny Somali spend a long term in South Korea's prison system? Could this situation establish a worldwide standard for suppressing renegade streamers? How do you view his circumstances? Is there any way he might atone? Is he condemned to spend years behind bars for his deeds? Leave comments here expressing your ideas and points of view.